Hello students. So in the last video we have seen and discussed that about the respiration and its types, and in that we have discussed that aerobic and anaerobic, these are the two type of respirations which are common in living organisms. So today we are going to continue that topic of respiration, and today we will cover the respiration in plants, in animals, and the third one, that is the important part, that is respiration in humans. Okay, starting with the first part, there are some key features about the respiration in plants and animal. So both the organisms are having some differences. So what are these differences? Let us discuss these things first, then we will continue with the later on discussion. So all the parts of plant perform respiration individually. Remember, because plant is having three main parts like leaf, stem, and root. So all the three parts of of the plant respires individually. And on the other hand, an animal perform respiration as a single unit. Remember, respirations include the first step, that is exchange of gases, in which oxygen will goes in and CO2, that is carbon dioxide, will go out. So this is the first step. Second is the main respiration reaction which take place inside the cell of every organism. So plants perform the first step, that is the exchange of gases, because of the openings, and these openings are present onto the stomata, leaf part, that is in the form of stomata, and these stomata are also present onto the stem. But in some cases of plant like woody plants, so they are having lenticels, so they are having the opening which is known as lenticels. Similarly, root hairs are present onto the root part, which will help in the respiration, exchange of gases by the help of process that is known as diffusion. So you have to remember this word, diffusion. Okay, moving on to the animal part. Animal perform respiration through the respiratory system. So they do the gaseous exchange with the help of lung, like in the case of human and other organisms. And yes, some animals like insects are having tracheal system. Some organisms like earthworm do the respiration exchange of gases with the help of skin. Fishes are doing this with the help of gills. So these are the various organs. So these are the respiratory system which perform the gaseous of exchange of gaseous components. So because of this exchange of gaseous component, so this oxygen and carbon dioxide, I would say, goes into the blood transportation system of human being and other organism, and this blood transportation system further supply oxygen to the various cell. So but yeah, there is some difference in the tracheal system. Otherwise, in maximum organisms, yes, this blood circulation system is helping these organisms to carry the oxygen as well as CO2 into their body parts. Okay, as animals are having transportation system, that is why, that is the main reason, because they are having transportation system, blood transportation system. So that is why they respire at fast rate as compared to the plant. So plant do the respiration but at slower rate, but animals are having these kind of transportation systems, so they respires very fast. And yes, they can cover longer distance. The if we talk about human beings, so they are having mouth opening or nasal opening for the intake of air, and through this intake of, this opening only, because of this transportation system, the gas which we inspire goes into the whole body. So this is what it means basically. So it carry a longer distance because of transportation system. The air goes into the whole body, oxygen goes into the whole body because of this transportation system. Okay, moving on to the main segment. First of all, in plants, let us discuss respiration in plants. So I have told you there are three main parts which do the respiration. One is the root part. So in root, yes, you can see this picture. So here you can see this is the root here. So this is the root here, dark blue color. And in this soil, this root here, this air spaces are present between the soil particles. So this air space is having the air which is having oxygen also, because respiration needs oxygen. So what will happen, the oxygen part of the air will diffuse inside the root hair. So what will happen, the oxygen will go into the root hair and it will be transported to the other cells also. It will, this air will move into to the other cells also, and every cell, nearby cells of the root will get the oxygen to do the respiration. So this is the movement of oxygen with the help of diffusion process. So diffusion means to say higher concentration to lower concentration movement. So the oxygen rich air that is present into the air gaps or air space of the soil will move into the root hair because of the diffusion. So this is how the roots of the plant do the respiration, and yes, CO2 will come out in place of it. So this is what I have already described. Moving on to the second part of the plant, that is the stem part. So no, you know very well, the stem is again, stem is having stomata opening also, but in woody plants, I have told you, like in this structure you can say, in woody plants there are some openings present onto the stem part. So these openings are basically known as lenticels. So this is lenticel. These openings are basically known as lenticel. So what is the purpose of having this lenticel? Lenticel is again, this opening provide the movement of oxygen from the outside to the inside of the stem, and yes, the cell of the stem will take up this oxygen and will do the respiration. So this is how they exchange the gases, the stem part in the woody plant basically, because normally herbs are having stomata in their stem part also, but yes, in the woody plant stem is not having perfect stomata, so they are having lenticels opening which do the exchange of gas. Okay, moving on to the, yes, respiration in leaves. So this is very common. You already heard about this. So stomata, which do the gaseous exchange, yes, exchange of gases. So stomata. So there is a little bit. I'm going to into the details. So when the photosynthesis take place, yes, remember when the stomata is opening. So when photosynthesis take place during the daytime because light is required for the reaction, that is light reaction. So in the daytime photosynthesis will happen, and meanwhile remember respiration will also happen. So photosynthesis and respiration both will happen in the daytime, but in the night time only respiration will take place. So whenever for in photosynthesis the plants takes inside the CO2. So that is the case of plant when it does the photosynthesis, so it will take inside the CO2, but when it will do the respiration it will take inside the oxygen. So that is why this oxygen is going inside, because we are discussing respiration. So in the day or night, whatever is the time, so oxygen during the respiration, that oxygen will go inside the stomata for the, yes, for the breakdown of the glucose. So this is what happens in the case of leaf of the plant. So stomata is going to take the oxygen during the day as well as during the night time. But yes, when we talk about photosynthesis, that will happen in the daytime only, and during that time more amount of CO2 will be taken up by the plant as compared to the oxygen. So this is what I mean to say in this particular slide. So this is about the respiration in leaf. So plant is going to do the respiration in root, stem and leaf. So these are the three parts. So that is why plant do individual parts do the respiration. Okay, now moving on to the animal section. So first of all, respiration in insect by tracheal system. So remember, tracheals are tube like structure. As you can see, this is the grasshopper structure. So what is the three things which is basically present in the insect? One is the spiracles. Spiracles are the opening which are present onto the outer body of the insect or grasshopper. It may be grasshopper, it may be butterfly also, it may be cockroach also. So these are the, this spiracle basically is the opening present onto the body of the insects, and it is internally it is connected with these tube or channel like system. So this is basically trachea. And yes, one more feature is there in this in these insects about the tracheal system, that air sac is also present. So what it will do, the air is, because of the diffusion again, this air sac will do the role. So the air will be sucked by these air sacs, and yes, the air will go inside the tracheal system with the help of these spiracles. So here you can see, so first of all air will move into this spiracles, with the help of the spiracle go into the trachea, and it will be directly going to the body cell. Here you can see the air is going directly to the body cell, where it will do the breakdown of the glucose. Otherwise the air will get collected into this air sac also. And yes, after the inhalation, the second step will be the exhalation, in which the air from these cells, that is the CO2 and everything, will collected into the air sac, and it will be expelled out again through this particular opening, that is spiracle. So this is what happened in the case of tracheal system. So let us see this file, and you will be clear about this particular functioning of this spiracles. So here you can say oxygen is moving in yellow color and going into the air sac as well as the all the body cells, and then it come out through this spiracles only, with the CO2 is coming out. So this is how this function is happening. So first of all, oxygen is going inside, then it is utilized by the cells. Parallelly it is coming out with the help of, again, this inhalation and exhalation is going inside the insect. So this spherical opening plus tracheal system. So insect respires by the help of trachea. So that is the main thing about this particular topic. Yes, moving on to the yes, respiration in unicellular organisms like amoeba. So they do the respiration by simple diffusion and with the help of the cell membrane. So the outer layering of these organism is known as cell membrane or plasma membrane sometimes. So this membrane help in the diffusion. So oxygen rich air is present outside, which goes inside, and after doing the whole process of respiration, breakdown and all, CO2 is going to produce, and it will come out through this plasma membrane only. So diffusion will do the action in the case of single cell organisms like amoeba. Okay, now moving on to the next slide, that is about the respiration in earthworm. So earthworm respires with the help of skin. So they are having moist skin. So again, this skin of the earthworm is having, just onto the periphery inside the, I'm talking about the inside the earthworm, this blood capillaries are present. So these capillaries are coming to the peripheral part of their body. So these are the peripheral capillaries, reaching to the periphery. So when the oxygen diffuse into this blood capillaries, and it move into the other part of the body and cell, you can say, and yes, cell use the oxygen, and again after using the oxygen, the CO2 will come out, and it will again expel out with this particular skin. So this is again the method of diffusion is there, but yes, the diffusion is taking place with the help of skin in this case. So earthworm respires with the help of skin in this manner. Now the next organism is, yes, it is obviously respiration by gill, that is done by fishes. So in fishes, you can see in this particular slide, the water flow from their mouth inside the fish, and it passes diagonally to the gill structure. So this is the gill structure. So water move inside and passes diagonally to the gill structure. Now what is the, what are the various content present inside the gill? So basically inside the gill, this is basically gill arc, in which blood vessels, this you can see artery and veins are present, and these are the filaments of the gills. These are the filaments, and if we are going to observe the filament in more detail, so what you will see in this filament, particular filament, these lamellas are present. These are the lamella, one, two, three lamellas are being shown in this particular slide. So this lamella is connected in such a manner that onto the left side is the oxygen rich blood, which is like artery, and this is the oxygen poor blood, so this is like a vein. So this right side is connected with the blood capillary, which is having poor oxygen, and this left side is connected with the artery, or what you can say capillary, with the oxygen rich blood. So the water will flow from left to right in this manner. Water is going from left to right, and blood is moving from this side to this side. That means right to left. So it is like a counter current exchange. So I mean, one side is moving from, that is water is moving from the left side to the right side, and blood is moving from the right side to the left side. Not always the movement is contraflow. That doesn't matter that always water will move from left to right. No, it may move from right to left depending upon the sequence, so or position of the gill filament. So that depends. But the thing is, yes, water will move from one direction to the other, and oppositely the blood is moving like this. So it will move in a counter current manner. So the blood, I mean the water is in blue color, so it is going from left to right like this, and the blood is moving from the right to left. So in this way the exchange of gases will take place. So oxygen from water will goes into the blood, and blood become oxygen rich, and it will move into the oxygen rich vessel and supply the oxygen to the different part of the body in the gill, in the fishes basically. Now we have completed the plants and main animals. Now we are going to start with the respiratory system in humans. So this is very important and interesting also, because this is about our body. Okay, so this is the respiratory system of our body. So you can see the air will move inside, obviously through the opening that is known as nasal opening, and it will move into the nasal cavity. And yes, this is the first part from where the air will goes into our body, nasal cavity. So this is the flow chart basically. So nasal cavity, after that the air will move into the pharynx part. Pharynx is the just from where our windpipe start, that particular area is basically pharynx, and then it move into the trachea. So trachea is a windpipe which is covered with the cartilaginous structure. So this cartilaginous structure are going to prevent, I mean, obviously when gas is moving, when gas is sucked in or sucked out, till that time it will remain open. But sometime what happen when we suck the gas, so chances are there that pipe may get closed because of the suction. So to avoid that closing of the windpipe, cartilage rings are present onto the trachea part. So that is the I mean benefit of having cartilaginous rings around the trachea. Okay, now that after trachea the air will goes into the bronchi. So there are two bronchi basically. One is moving to the left side and second is moving to the right side, like here you can see in this structure. So air is moving from here and it is dividing into the left and right side of the lung. So these two bronchi are there. So bronchi, after this bronchi, this I mean this vessels, you can say, these are the further division of this bronchi into the bronchioles. So these, I mean, micro tubule like structures are basically bronchioles. So the air will goes into the bronchioles, and ultimately bronchioles are further divided into primary, secondary, like this bronchioles, and further it will goes in open into the alveoli. So alveoli is the balloon like structure or sac like structure. Very micro level alveoli are present basically. So these alveoli is basically very irregular in shape to provide larger surface area, so that maximum exchange of gas will take place. So the air which is inhaled by human body reaches into the alveoli, where it get in direct contact with the blood basically. So I'm in the last slide of this video, I'm going to show you the uh, structure of alveoli, where the gaseous exchange finally take place in our body, and the oxygen goes into the blood and CO2 from the blood goes back into this alveoli. So where this exchange of the, so in the last slide of this video I'm going to show you the alveoli part. Okay, so this is the respiratory system. Now moving on to the inhalation and exhalation. So this is how our body inhale and exhale. So inhalation, so lungs are expanding, and exhalation, lungs are contracting like this. So you can see in this particular file, inhalation then exhalation, so like this. Okay, so how this happens basically, what is the I mean principle behind. So this is our respiratory system in detail. So the main functioning of inhalation and exhalation is basically done with the help of the muscles and ribs. So muscles are these are the muscles which are present around the ribs basically, and these muscles are known as intercostal muscles, remember. So these are the intercostal muscles which will do the contraction and expansion and contraction of the rib cage. So this is the rib cage which you can see in this particular slide. This is the rib cage basically, and inside this rib cage we are having thoracic cavity. This is thoracic cavity inside this rib cage. So lung is present inside our thoracic cavity basically. So what is the principle behind? So breathing in, and this is breathing out. So you can see during the breathing in, chest expands and it go outside. So this whole rib cage go outside and the cavity is becoming more in volume. So just let's do the explanation. So what happened basically? So intercostal muscles present onto the rib cage, so these muscles are going to contract. So first of all, these muscles are going to contract, and because of their contraction, rib cage will expand. So rib cage will expand in two manner. One is the upward manner, like going up, and yes, outward manner, going outside. So in this way the rib cage is going to expand, and also the diaphragm move downward because of the contraction. So diaphragm will contract and move downward. So what will happen because of this? This will increase the volume of the volume of the thoracic cavity. So because of this increase in volume, means to say pressure will low down, pressure will low down. So because of the decrease in pressure, the outer atmospheric pressure automatically will become high, and because of that the air will goes into our thoracic cavity, that is our lung, and yes, ultimately it will reach to the alveoli part. On to the other part, when we do the exhalation, that is breathing out mechanism. Yes, so during breathing out, what will happen? Our intercostal muscle will relax. So when it muscles will relax, that is the muscles which are around the ribs basically. So when these are going to relax, so our rib cage will become contract. So it will contract basically, and because of this contraction, the rib cage will go downward like this, and yes, it will move inward also. So it will move inward also. So this is what happen when the intercostal muscle relax. Same time, this diaphragm will relax and it will goes, the diaphragm will relax basically. So and it will move up, it will go upside. So these two things are going to reduce the thoracic cavity. So these two things are going to reduce the thoracic cavity, and because of this the volume of the thoracic cavity decrease and the air present inside the lung will go outside like this. So this is exhalation, and earlier we have discussed the inhalation. So breathing in and breathing out. So this is the mechanism of breathing basically. Okay, so let us see this file. So it is showing inhalation and exhalation both. So you can see inhalation, when inhalation is there, so this thoracic cavity is expanding, and exhalation is there, then it is squeezing in basically. So this is what is appearing in this particular file. And moving on to this particular file, let us see. So these are the ribs cage basically. So you can see we are having true ribs, like we are having around 7 pair of true ribs. You can see this red color is true ribs which are attached to the sternum part. So this bone is basically sternum, and false ribs are the ribs which are basically, so these are the false ribs which are attached with, these are the fused rib basically. 8, 9, 10 pair are the fused rib, and two more ribs are there which are 11 and 12 in pair, which are known as floating ribs. So you can see because of the contraction the ribs is moving outward and upward. So this is what, again you can watch this video how this movement of ribs taking place. So you can see these ribs are moving outward basically. True ribs, false ribs, and floating ribs are also present onto the back side like this. Here you can see these are the two pair of floating ribs. So these ribs are going to expand and relax basically, contract basically, because of the intercostal muscle. So this is going upward, so this upward, and yes, outward. So this is how onto the side view. So this is how, upward and it is again moving outward also. So these both action will take when the intercostal muscles will allow it. Okay, so this is the slide in which you can see this is the alveoli structure. So gaseous exchange which is taking at alveoli part. So here you can see this is the sac-like structure alveoli, and these are the blood capillaries around the alveoli. So this is the structure where maximum, I mean whole gaseous exchange will take place. So oxygen will go into the blood, and this blood will go this I mean this oxygenated blood will, this is the go to the pulmonary vein, and pulmonary vein will go to the heart part, and heart will pump this blood to the whole body. So we will discuss this when we will be discussing the transportation part. Then I will tell you what is this pulmonary vein and what is this pulmonary artery basically. So basically this is the alveoli part, and here the exchange of gas will take place. Oxygen will go in, and parallelly CO2 in the blood will go inside the alveoli, and it will go out with the help of exhalation process. So inhalation and exhalation. Inhalation means oxygen is coming in much quantity, very much quantity, and exhalation, CO2 is going out by the, yes, exhalation part. So this CO2 is going inside the cells of every tissue, every body part, and where the respiration will ultimately taking place. So this is all about the respiration in plant, animal, and human. So up to this we have covered the topic of respiration in full details. And yes, what you have to do, there are some questions. If you are having any doubt, you can ask. uh, and yes, I am going to give you the question also, so that your practice will be there for this particular topic. Till then, thank you.